Hey everybody, welcome back for Proverbs 18, verses 1 through 12. I'm glad you're here. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave those in the comments section. And if you would like this or share it out with your friends list, I would appreciate it. Also, if you want to get a notification whenever these are posted over to YouTube, you can go over there and subscribe, and you'll get a notification each time it's posted. And all of those interactions are appreciated. I'd like for this to be as interactive as possible, so feel free to jump into the conversation. But anyway, so we will start with verse 1 of chapter 18. Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire, and he breaks out against all sound judgment. So here we see a warning against isolation. We've talked about many times throughout this Proverbs study about how wisdom seeks counsel, and how with a council of with enough counselors, wisdom's, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but how in order to make wise decisions, we surround ourselves with people that are wise, or that we think are wise, and that in an abundance of counsel we can find wisdom. So this is the opposite side of that coin. That if you choose to isolate yourself and make your own decisions, you will by default seek your own desire, and then by doing that you break out against all sound judgment. Some of the other translations say you go against all common sense, and so we need to be careful as we go through life that we're not isolating ourselves. And I know that I'm more extroverted than some. But I also know that even an introvert needs a group of friends that they can bounce ideas off of, and have a relationship where someone will keep you from making foolish decisions, or at least try to warn you against it. Verse 2: a fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. Again, I think all of us know this fool who takes no pleasure, has no intent to listen to understand. They have no intent to listen at all sometimes, but they only want to give their opinion. So it's, this is the one that interrupts your story to tell you how it went, or if you're trying to tell them something, you're trying to share some story or whatever, they're interrupting you to tell you what happened to them, or whatever. So they're much more interested in sharing their own opinion than listening and understanding what's what you have to say. So again, as with everything with Proverbs, we have this choice as to who we want to be. We can choose to be the fool. We can choose to be wise. And it's up to us as to which direction we want to go. Verse 3: when wickedness comes, contempt comes also, and with dishonor comes disgrace. So this points out that wickedness never comes alone. Wickedness always comes with contempt and tension. It always comes with arguments and disagreements. Wickedness doesn't come with wickedness is not one of those things that can exist in a vacuum. It always brings death and destruction with it. And we've talked about that before, and how the fall of creation has led to the sin that causes death and destruction. And any time that you invite sin or wickedness into your life, you're inviting death and destruction into your life. And the only way to avoid that is to actively seek Christ and His forgiveness and His ability to keep you away from sin. It also says dishonor comes with disgrace. So wickedness doesn't come alone. It always brings contempt and tension and arguments and these other pieces of death and destruction with it. But dishonor also comes with disgrace. Verse 4: the words of a man's mouth are deep waters. The fountain of wisdom is a bubbling brook. So those that seek out wisdom and have wisdom to share, it's a deep well. It's not they have one thing that they continue to say over and over again. It's that they if you seek wisdom, you're not going to find a little bit of wisdom. You're going to find a deep well of wisdom. and that's it's a bubbling brook. It's fresh, clean, drinkable water, and it's beneficial not only to you but to those around you. Verse 5: It's not good to be partial to the wicked or deprive the righteous of justice. It's not good to be partial to the wicked, to give special treatment to the wicked, or to deprive the righteous of justice. It's not, it's not good to favor the wicked. It's not, it's just not good. Don't do it. So this is speaking more to someone that's in a judge position. But if you think about it, we're all put in that position every day, and that, how we treat our coworkers and how we deal with the people around us. And if we give partiality, if we give favoritism, if we give a leg up to the wicked, then we are, by definition, living out this verse. So verse 6: A fool's lips walk into a fight, and his mouth invites a beating. So we talked about how a fool likes to talk rather than listen, and how by being quick to talk and slow to listen, puts you in this camp of being a fool. This is a continuation of that, in that a fool's lips walk into a fight. So a fool's tongue brings trouble, brings fights, it says, the second part says his mouth invites a beating. I know we all probably know some fools whose mouths have invited beatings, and we have restrained ourselves from providing that. And I think that's probably a good thing. But a fool's words are going to get him in trouble. And so if we're seeking wisdom, and it goes on in verse 7 to say, a fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are a snare to his soul. So again, we know that a fool's mouth is going to get him in trouble. And again, if we're making this choice between wisdom and foolishness, a lot of times that choice is simply by not talking. And we've talked about how silence can be perceived as wisdom, and how we can keep ourselves out of trouble by just keeping our mouth shut, and by only sharing wisdom when we feel like we need to. But just be careful. And we're doing this study with our small group. It's called Watch Your Mouth, but it talks about how important it is to control your tongue and control your language, control your mouth, and how much of an effect it has on your life. And this is another example of that, and that a fool's mouth will lead to ruin, will get you into fights, it will get you into trouble. So just be careful with that small organ there on the front of your face. Verse 8: The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down into the inner parts of the body. So to me, this is a warning against even listening to gossip. If you hear people, they'll talk about how, I don't participate in gossip. I don't share any of that. But this says even the hearing of it, even the listening to it, goes down into the innermost parts. It goes down into the deepest part of your being. And so be careful what you listen to. Be careful what you let in. So even if you think you're not sharing gossip, and you're not spreading it, if you're simply listening to it, you're allowing that into your life, and you're allowing that to go down deep into you, and it can have damage. I mean, it can damage your perception of someone. If someone's spreading untruths, and you're listening to those, it can damage your perception of that victim. Whether you know it or not, whether you think it or not, it plays with your mental picture of them. So just be careful. Verse 9: Whoever is slack in his work is a brother to him who destroys. So those who are lazy and don't do their work to the best of their ability or as unto the Lord, as a brother, is just like comes with or is a brother to him who destroys. So again, you can choose which camp you want to be in there. Verse 10: The name of the Lord is a strong tower; a righteous man runs to it and is safe. So again, we've always got this strong tower that we can run to, and the name of the Lord is that strong tower, and we have the ability to go to Him and seek refuge. Verse 11, a rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his imagination. So here we kind of see the classic Proverbs, this and then that. So verse 10 is, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and a righteous man runs to it and is safe. And then that is a rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his imagination. So a rich man thinks that his wealth is his protection and his refuge, but it's only in his imagination. If for no other reason than verse 12, before destruction a man's heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. So we've seen before in Proverbs where pride comes before the fall, and so this is kind of a reiteration of that. Before destruction a man's heart is haughty or prideful, but humility comes before honor. So again, the other side of this coin is humility comes before honor. So we've got pride comes before the fall, and humility comes before honor. So when you decide to choose pride or humility in whatever situation you're in, think about the repercussions of that. Do you want destruction? Do you want to fall, or do you want honor and glory from someone else? And so by if we choose to build ourselves up and make ourselves prideful, then we're choosing destruction. We're choosing a fall. But if we choose to make ourselves humble, that honor will come eventually. And it's not promised on a timeline or anything that we can quantify, but it is promised that it'll come. And so that's verse 12. We'll wrap there for today and pick up with verse 13 on Monday. I appreciate you being here, and be sure to like this and share it with your friends. And if you've got any questions or comments, please leave those below or send me a message. Thank you. Have a great day.